there, it's Natalie Topa, and I'm back here in Fumba town in Zanzibar, which is a master planned community, and it's very unique because the landscaping and the waste management, and now also the energy security that's coming up, are based on permaculture design principles. And so this is run by my friends Bernadette and Franco, the landscaping and permaculture aspects of it. And so it's just always refreshing and great to come here and be here and see all the exciting things that are happening. How they're also trying to adapt conventional construction standards and community design with the integration of urban food forestry and permaculture based design and circularity and regenerative aspects as well. So I'm actually here in the place where we were doing a super Adobe course last year, and the first phase of which has been completed. This is a town that I think will have more than 700 homes when all is said and done. So it's happening in different phases and chunks. So I took a video with Franco, which is on the YouTube channel as well. We were standing up there and overlooking this super Adobe construction. So this construction here has been done with earth bags, and earth bag construction or super Adobe construction is featured in different pockets throughout the entire town here, but this one specifically is called Park 4. That's the unofficial name. We have a daycare center here, and that is that behind is a whole new commercial center and shopping plaza that is coming up. It's looking really good from the other side, and that faces the gate that goes into the main part of Fumba town. So here is the structure that we did. This will be a park eventually when the next phases come on. But this was done again with Quentin Christian, who is a super Adobe expert and natural builder as well, not only with super Adobe and Earthbag, but different styles, who's done work all over the world. So he was leading this course for us. And what we did here, the vision here is that this will eventually be a kiosk cafe. This is a little community gathering point, an amphitheater with a stage, which will eventually be covered. But this is just a place for seating, cafe, tables, community gathering, and the scale is just really lovely. All of these walls can act as sitting benches. So in the other park near Kwetukwenu, where there's another sort of the main roundabout of the Fumba town, employs these earth bag walls, and then the center is filled with that's what they're doing here, filling it with soil and compost. So these are actually vegetated islands. These will be islands, like giant planter boxes for food forestry. So this eventually will be, covered in a canopy of different types of trees, edible plants, native species, a lot of the local biodiversity for birds, for bees, for everybody, for shade, for the community, for play. There's going to be another playground as well here for the daycare center. So yeah, I just wanted to come back and revisit how the first phase is coming along. We've already got some bamboo planted in here, and I can see a number of trees have been planted. So so this is, work in progress. It's continuing on, but this will be filled more in with soil and more trees and just a lot of dense vegetation. So this is actually going to be like it'll be a food forest in and of itself, with a lot of overstory trees and different layers. So some of this, water's coming off of the road here into this. I think this is the most established bed here. Let me just turn around so you can see it from another perspective. Yeah, so this one has already been planted out with trees and plants, and they'll continue to add to this and, cover it with different types of crops. And but it's just a beautiful, simple way to fill the space. It's very human scaled. It's very pedestrian scaled. The width here, by the way, between the beds is sufficient for wheelchair access. So, the concepts of accessibility and everything and inclusion are very much here, trying to ensure that all users of the space will be able to access it. So, yeah, it's just a lovely, So for those who are not familiar with earth bag construction or super adobe, basically these walls are a series of polythene bags. Here in East Africa we call them gunias or gunny sacks, but they're not made of jute. It's made of a plastic. So those are filled with different blends of sand and lime and 10% cement on the bottom of the foundation. And so we just go ramming and tamping that down and packing them and then connecting them with barbed wire strands in between. And now they've plastered. They did different plaster mixes to test, with the locally available materials, what makes sense. So this did not take a long time. It doesn't take a hugely skilled team either. Quentin talks about, and in Super Adobe in general, you talk about something called the flow. So you have stations and teams, and everybody, has a task and works together in a flow. So materials are coming, tamping is happening, the bags are being filled, and it can, you can really start to see a lot of progress on a built structure quite quickly. So I just love it. It feels good. It feels very human. It feels, despite the fact that the bags are made of the polythene, it's still, it still feels very natural, very vernacular, very organic. And although I wouldn't call super adobe and earth bag construction natural building, I would call it alternative construction. And why that's important is because when you build with this style, and you can go multi-story, you can go high up, usually, often you'll see the dome structures, which is, there's a pole on that amphitheater to measure the roundness. And as you as you build up, you use this pole here sort of as a beacon for measuring the dimensions of the inner part of the dome. So that's what this is. And you use, you can use chains or this pole, and you just use that to measure as you're building up. But unlike, conventional construction where you have timber frame, you have iron, you have rebars, you have, maybe steel pillars, all these other materials which are extracted from other parts of other ecologies, or even in this ecology here. And so, by doing a super adobe or earth bag construction, you're very much reducing or even eliminating those other types of materials. And everything else is just found locally here within Zanzibar, where I am. So I wouldn't say it's natural construction, but I would say it's alternative construction. And for people who are looking to, reduce some of the more the conventional building materials, which can lead to degenerative practices, it's definitely something that I would think about. And Quentin's website is Ecodomes Africa, I think, or if you search Ecodomes Africa, Quentin's done work all over the world using super adobe and earth bag and many other types of alternative and natural building, cob and other such things. So that's just a quick recap, and it's looking great and it feels great. And once these homes start to be occupied and the construction is finished and the follow-on phases come up, then it's gonna look absolutely fabulous. So that's it. Thank you.